4, 3, 2, 1.
Studio Classroom is recording. Please stand by. Studio Classroom is on the air.
Hello, friends, and welcome to Studio Classroom. Your English will improve today. My name is Carolyn. How do you like to pay for things? Do you prefer to use cash, a card, or maybe even your phone? There are many different payment options available. Today, we are going to continue our lesson on cash or cashless. Yesterday, we learned that Mark likes to pay with cash, while Paul thinks going cashless is great. Who do you agree with more? Paul and Mark still have some information to share with us, so let's get started with our first reading.
Cash or cashless?
Well, I'd just come back later or go to another store.
And what about emergency situations? When severe weather knocks out the power, you can't pay. The technology systems fail. If you have cash, you can still buy things.
As I said, that doesn't happen very often. Cashless is good for business. It significantly reduces the risk of in-store theft and fraud.
I guess that's true. There isn't any cash on the premises.
Exactly. That gives customers peace of mind and keeps employees safe.
Hi everyone, I'm Michelle. Welcome to today's language lab. 首先我们要来看的是 fraud 这个名词。fraud 是指诈骗或者是诈骗案。例如 credit card fraud has become more and more serious because personal info is shared between merchants. 由于商家会分享个资，信用卡诈骗案越来越猖獗。或者是 the conman was convicted of fraud and sentenced to 3 years in prison. 这个骗子的诈欺案成立，而且被判3年监禁。Fraud 也指骗子，例如 The seemingly innocent girl turned out to be a fraud. Many people were deceived by her. 这个看起来无辜的女孩，结果是个骗子，许多人都被她骗了。继续我们看 premises 这个复数形名词。Premises 是指公司机构的经营场址或生产场所，例如 All personnel entering the premises must wear name tags. 所有进入这个厂区的人员都需要佩戴名牌，或者是 The company is seeking new premises because they need bigger space. 这家公司正在寻找新的基地，因为他们需要更大的空间。Premise 如果是单数的话，是指假设、前提或先决条件。例如 The professor thinks the premise of my argument in my article isn't sound enough. 教授认为我文章里的论证的先决条件不够有力。
Thank you very much, Michelle. All right, friends, let's continue learning with this conversation between Paul and Mark. They are not agreeing on whether or not a store should go cashless. Paul says, well, I'd just come back later or go to another store. This is in response to if the card reader isn't working, if it breaks down.
That's right. Okay, well, Mark says, and what about emergency situations? When severe weather knocks out the power and you can't pay. Well, that's a very good point. But before we continue, let's take a look at a couple of things in that sentence. The first is severe weather. Now, this is talking about bad weather. Severe could mean different things, right? Severe could mean extreme, But when we talk about severe weather, it's always a negative thing. It's like a terrible storm or really bad rain or something like that.
Right, so maybe you're checking the weather report and you find out that we are expecting severe weather this weekend. That means you probably shouldn't go outside.
That's right. Okay, well, there's another thing we want to talk about here in this sentence, and that is knock out. The severe weather knocks out the power. Used in this way, this means to destroy something or to stop something from working properly.
Right, and this is something that severe weather can do. Perhaps there's a typhoon and it knocks out the power. There's no more electricity service to your home. Or if it's winter, a snowstorm can knock out the power because snow and ice are very heavy and they can weigh down on the lines and knock out the power.
That's a great point. And yeah, that's how I use this phrase often, right? If the storm or something like that knocks out the power. And we've all been in those situations before. We're just at home watching TV or cooking or something, and all of a sudden all of the power goes out. It has been knocked out.
Right, so you can say that something knocks out the power or the power was knocked out.
Okay, so let's continue with Mark's line here. The technology systems fail. That happens sometimes. If you have cash, you can still buy things.
That is true, but only if the store isn't using a digital cash system.
Exactly, like the
right?
cash register, it might be knocked out as well. And you can't open the cash till.
Right, if you can't open the cash register because it needs electricity, that's a problem too. Well, you can still buy things at some stores. And Paul said, as I said, that doesn't happen very often. Cashless is good for business. It significantly reduces the risk of in-store theft and fraud.
Well, let's take a look at that word bank word significantly. Okay, this means in a great way. In a way or by an amount that makes a difference.
Right, and you can use this in many different kinds of situations. For example, if you're playing a game, you might say, having you on our team significantly increases our chances of winning. So I'm glad you're on my team.
Oh, that's a great example. Yes, it's great to have really skilled people on your team. It significantly increases your chances of winning. So in our lesson here, it significantly reduces the risk of in-store theft and fraud. That means if a place goes cashless, well then if a robber comes in, then there's no cash to steal, right? It reduces that chance. Well, Mark says, I guess that's true. There isn't any cash on the premises. Paul says, exactly, that gives customers peace of mind and keeps employees safe. Now let's take a look at that phrase, peace of mind. If someone has peace of mind, that is a feeling of being safe or protected or secure.
Exactly, and this isn't just for businesses. You might feel peace of mind after you have a security system installed in your home. Or I know a lot of apartments that are in Taipei have bars on the windows, and maybe that gives people peace of mind because they know they are protected.
Right, exactly. And it's great to have peace of mind in any situation, right? Like if someone is taking care of your children, if you can trust that person, of course you will have a greater peace of mind leaving them with that person. Okay, so let's get back to our lesson here. The idea of going cashless or having to allow people to still pay cash. Carolyn, have you ever been in a situation where you wanted to pay with cash, but you couldn't?
I have had that experience, Gabe. I was at a restaurant with my husband in DC. We were looking for a place to eat for lunch, and we found a place with great reviews online, so we went there, and we saw a notice on their door that said they don't accept cash. We were a little confused, but we still went in to see and make sure, and they really did not accept cash. And I didn't have a credit card on me, and neither did my husband, and we didn't have a digital wallet, so we ended up going to a different restaurant.
Well, was it worth it? I mean, how was the other restaurant?
Well, the other restaurant was fine. We had burritos and they were delicious, but the other restaurant seemed much more expensive and it was very crowded.
Interesting. Okay. Well, we know at least of one restaurant that has gone cashless. Thank you for sharing that story with us. Friends, right now it is time for us to go to
The Info Cloud.
Hello and welcome to InfoCloud, everyone. Joe, I noticed lately that you've been carrying around glass straws when you go out for lunch.
That's right. I care a lot about the environment, and I decided it was time to put my money where my mouth is.
That's why you went out and purchased that set of straws. Good for you. So let's take a moment and talk about the phrase, put your money where your mouth is.
It means that you commit money or take action for something you believe in, rather than simply just talk about it.
People who bet in horse races would use the phrase to push each other to put down money on a horse, rather than just talk about how that horse was the best.
Now, this phrase isn't limited to just betting. Although you can use it to describe your own actions, the phrase is most often used to get others to take action.
For example, people in the United States often want more small local businesses in their area. So you could say, you need to put your money where your mouth is and support small businesses.
Putting your money where your mouth is the best way to show you are serious about what you say.
我们经常听到一些慈善团体呼吁大众要以实际行动来支持一些有意义的活动。在英文有类似的用语，那就是 put your money where your mouth is。字面上的意思是，你嘴巴说出来的话，你的金钱也应该要跟上，因为金钱是人心最在乎的东西之一。你的金钱花在什么地方，就可以看得出你心里最在乎的人事物。Tom cares a lot about orphans and donates money to orphanages. Tom 很在乎孤儿，他也捐钱给孤儿院。He's really putting his money where his mouth is. 他真的以实际的行动去证明。Putting your money where your mouth is 也是在表达一个人不是只是口头上说说而已，而是真的说到做到。这就是今天的 InfoCloud， 我们下次语端见。
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to Studio Classroom. Today we're looking at a lesson called Cash or Cashless. Paul and Mark are discussing whether it's better for businesses to accept cash or to go cashless and only accept cards or digital wallet payments. Well, Paul thinks it's a great idea, but Mark is worried, what if the technology fails, especially in the case of severe weather knocking out the power? Well, let's see how this conversation continues now.
Cash or cashless?
But that comes at a price. Doesn't it cost about 2 to 3% of the transaction value to process credit and debit cards? If every customer uses a card, that's more fees for the business to pay.
Yes, but on the upside, customers usually buy more with cards than with cash.
But you're forgetting something else. If your credit is bad, if you're too young or you don't make enough money, you won't have a credit card. Cash is universal. It can be used by people of any age or financial situation.
Well, I guess that both payment types serve specific needs for specific people.
I couldn't agree more. Let's let people use them both.
OK， 接下来我们看 transaction 这个名词 ，trans 这个字首有转移或越过的意思，所以 transaction 是指交易、业务或生意。注意这里的 s 是发 z 的音，念成 transaction。例如 ，The last transaction on my credit card was last Friday。我的信用卡的最后一笔交易是在上周五。或者是 commercial property transactions usually take weeks to process。商业性不动产的交易通常要花好几周的时间来处理。或者是 many elderly people are not comfortable with online electronic financial transactions。许多长者对于网络电子商务不太习惯。最后我们看的是 upside 这个名词 upside 在这里不是指往上的一面，而是指好的一面或有利的一面。多半是用单数型，例如 My boss turned down my proposal, but the upside is that he appreciated my effort。虽然老板没有接受我的提案，但是好的一面就是他欣赏我的努力。它的反义词是 downside， 意思是不利的一面。例如 The downside of being a full-time mom is that you never get off work。当全职妈妈的缺点就是你没有下班时间。And now let's get back to our teachers.Thanks so much, Michelle. Well, friends, we're continuing our conversation with Paul and Mark, and we read here what Mark says. But that comes at a price. He's talking about this peace of mind and safety that you get from going cashless as a business. That comes at a price.
Hey, let's take a look at that phrase. If it comes at a price, that means it has negative consequences because of some action that you did will have negative consequences.
Right, and this could literally cost you money. That could be the price, but it could cost something else. For example, fame comes at a price. You lose your privacy.
That is true, and that's a great example. A lot of celebrities, some celebrities anyway, complain about this. They can't go out in public anymore, so fame does come at a price. Think about something else that comes at a price. Mark continues, doesn't it cost about 2 or 3% of the transaction value to process credit and debit cards? If every customer uses a card, that's more fees for the business to pay.
Ah, that's true. So the business has to pay more fees, but Paul has an answer. Yes, but on the upside, customers usually buy more with cards than with cash.
Okay, that's a good point. Perhaps it's a psychological thing. If you have a card, you might be willing to pay more or buy more things. That is the upside. Of course, the opposite of that word upside is the downside of something. But we continue here. Mark says, but you're forgetting something else. If your credit is bad, if you're too young, or you don't make enough money, you won't have a credit card.
That is true. And he brings up an interesting thing here. If your credit is bad.
That's right. It's not a credit card is bad. He's talking about if your credit, okay? Well, the idea behind a credit card is your credit with a certain company. That's the idea of how much they trust you with something. So, your credit is the ability of a customer to get or buy things before paying based on the trust that the payment will be made in the future. Okay, so hopefully you have good credit. You have a good credit score, for example.
Right, so credit scores are really important, especially in the U.S. or in places where using credit cards are common. It's important to build good credit by paying your credit card bills on time.
On time, you know what I like to do is not just pay the minimum, but try to pay the whole thing off as soon as possible. Okay, so that's your credit, okay? We read on here, cash is universal. Cash is universal. Well, universal is a word bank word. It means worldwide. Everybody uses it and knows what it is.
And cash isn't the only thing that's universal. There are many things that are universal. For example, kindness. Kindness is universal. People all over the world can understand kindness.
That's right. Okay, well, Mark continues on here. It can be used by people of any age or financial situation. That is true. Well, Paul says, well, I guess that both payment types serve specific needs for specific people.
And Mark says, I couldn't agree more. let's let people use them both. And I think that's a good solution. Just have both.
Hey, it looks like Mark and Paul are finally seeing eye to eye on something.
Well, I'm not sure that Paul agrees with him about using both, but Mark sees this as a possible solution.
Yeah, perhaps. Well, Carolyn, do you see eye to eye with me that right now it's time for us to go to the SC Challenge? Friends, for today's SC Challenge, let's find out which contestants are here with us in the studio. Please introduce yourselves.
Hi everyone, I'm Linda and it's so good to be here.
I'm Brandon, great to be back on the SC Challenge.
Okay, well you will see this dynamic duo several times this month. And let's see who is going to be today's winner. Friends, for cash or cashless, try your best to get these as fast as you can. Here we go.
Did you say cash?
Did you say you want some cash?
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll see about that. Number one, according to Mark, what could stop you from paying with a credit card? A, the power goes off. B, a weak conscience. C, your friends. D, pride. That was Brandon.
I'm going to go with A, the power goes off.
The power goes off. A, you are correct. Very nice. Okay, Linda, this could be yours. According to the lesson, what is one benefit of businesses going cashless? A, they won't waste paper. B, robbers can't steal cash. C, they lose money. D, customers are happier. Dunna, that's Linda.
D, customers are happier?
D, customers are happier. Perhaps that's correct, but that's not according to the lesson. Brandon, you want to...
I'm going to go with C.
Which is?
Something about losing money?
Yeah, that could be correct as well, but that's not according to the lesson. I'm going to give you another chance.
Right.
A, they won't waste paper, or B, robbers can't steal cash. That was Brandon.
I'm going to go with A, they won't waste paper.
Oh, that is incorrect. Linda,
I got it.
please.
B. I was going to say B too. But the thing is, I didn't choose that answer because they can still steal money from the company.
They might be able to, but they won't be able to steal cash.
I guess it was a little unclear.
Yeah, yeah. According to the lesson, you can't steal cash if there's no cash in the cash register.
I see.
Yeah, actually, I like that. That was a fun round. And, you know, friends out there, I know you got that answer right away. I forget. Do you both have 1 point, or is it...
I have one. I mean, I don't know if she got
I
that
got
point.
that
That was the
point.
only
Linda has
answer
one. Okay.
left.
Here's number three. Here's number three.
See how that's fair.
Here we go. What is often true about customers with cards? A, they are happier. B, they shop faster. C, they are not careful. Or D, they buy more than with cash. Yes, Brandon.
I'm going to go with B, they shop faster.
Nope, that's wrong.
D.
D, they buy more.
more.
You are right about that. That makes Linda today's winner. Nice job, you guys. That's all the time we have for today's SC Challenge.
All right, friends, for the past 2 days, we've been talking about cash or cashless. Which do you agree with? Do you agree with Paul or Mark? Do you think it's a good idea for businesses to go cashless? Have you ever been to a business that doesn't accept cash? It's an interesting experience for sure if you don't know that they don't take cash. Talk about that in English, and we'll see you next time on Studio Classroom.
A lifetime.